LifeSpeak podcast sponsored by Chafin Real Estate Services. Looking to make your next move? You're in the right place. Welcome to LifeSpeaks, the podcast that dives deep into real stories, big ideas, and life-changing insights. This episode is proudly brought to you by Chafin Real Estate Services, your trusted partner in full-service property management, expert real estate sales. With over 100 years of cumulative experience, Chafin Real Estate ensures your investments are in the best hands. Ready to find your dream home or maximize your rental income? Visit chafinrealestate.com or call 775-575-5000 today.
Thank you for joining our podcast, Life Speaks, and we're continuing our beautiful story with the Bakkers about the Reno Miracle Baby. And this is the day that you got to bring Naomi home.
Yes.
So we'll continue with, would you like to start, Michael, how that felt?
I just remember going to the hospital and bringing her back out, and I remember her two primary nurses putting her in the car with an oxygen tank and everything else and getting her in, and I just remember looking out the window and they both gave each other a high five.
Yeah.
Because they had done it.
They're so proud of themselves that they got this
We got her through.
this tiny little baby. We sent her home. And they sent her home bome flu season. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
We're like, we want her out of the hospital before the flu hits, because then it gets really bad.
And then just driving her home and then getting back home, and then one of the ladies who their family's become really good friends of ours, she was watching Nathaniel for most of the time during this whole ordeal, and she was there with Nathaniel, and they'd made a sign,
Welcome home,
Naomi. And he was like, "There's my sister."
He'd been dying to be
Yeah.
here. He had just...
How old was he then?
He was two, barely two.
So how small was the car seat? That was one of my questions.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing you have to
Have a
pass a car seat test before you can send him home. So I have a photo of her in the car seat, and she just looks tiny because the car seat's the same size.
No matter what.
But it was like you have to pass a certain test, I forget what the details are, but if you weren't secure enough or this or that, the other, you couldn't take her home. So
Did you have someone come out to test you? Because I know the fire department has.
They do it in the hospital, and the actual NICU nurses know how to do it and
okay.
how tight they can strap them in. And I forget the details, but it's just like, yes, we passed. We could take her home. And then, right before, that's when she had her hernia. And so I'm like, we got to, go take her in for surgery. And then she got out, recovered. And then the other side was herniated. So we had to go take her in and get surgery. The other side fixed. She passed the test, was not having Brady's, and that meant we could go. So we stayed the night, and we were very, very tired because a lot of beeps and noises and having to get up. And there was a lot of stuff, a lot of care involved. But like they said, it was going to slowly, they're all going to start dropping off. You'll have to go to the cardiologist, all these appointments, but they'll slowly start dropping off. They're all basically to make sure she's okay. And so it was very overwhelming. Michael was back at work. I'm at home with my son and suddenly a baby on oxygen with all these different needs and medical stuff. But
I think it was more overwhelming on just setting up her room with, here's a pulse oximeter with everything. Got to make sure it's on right.
Plugged in.
It's
It was
plugged
like
in.
on her little finger?
It was on her foot.
On her toe, big
on her
toe.
foot.
Yeah.
Big toe.
No, it was her whole foot.
Was it her whole foot?
It would not have foot her toe.
It was at her toe at one point in time.
It might have been, but it's tiny. It was tiny too.
Her foot was as big as a toe.
Yeah, she was still very, very little. I forget her weight, but I think she had barely 5 pounds, wasn't it? But big enough to give her.
She grew a lot.
Yeah. Yes, so that's 142 days. You're looking at over 3 months. But yeah, that was their big goal, is fattening her up. We need to get her to grow. Growth was always an issue. With growth comes development. That's what they always told us.
You probably had about 5 or 6 oxygen tanks on hand at all times, and
yes,
feel like you're your own little hospital.
We were equipped for everything.
Right.
But that day we were leaving, staff that weren't even on came in because they wanted to say bye to her. And the local news came out and did a beautiful story on her, just beautiful. And they interviewed us and interviewed.
What channel was that?
That was
KOLO.
No, it wasn't Colo. It was, I think, Channel 2.
Yeah.
And they did a lovely story and interviewed us. And then the hospital was also doing a story. So they did some filming on it as well. Renown did. And, you know, we shared our story and blubbered and all that. And, yeah, and then that story was aired that night, I think. Yeah, and it just took off. That was where it just got picked up. A lot of people picked up on the story. We had a friend in Texas that was like, I think I just heard about Naomi on Colo. That's the National Christian station. And someone else is like, yeah, we did. They were talking about this little baby, because we hadn't really shared we had not shared a story of her at birth, because we didn't want the shock value, because it's pretty shocking. We didn't want her photo to get shared, our precious little baby girl getting shared, like, oh, check out this baby that's, you know, under a pound. It's a little freaky. It really was.
Yeah.
But once she started to develop and blossom and bloom, it's great to go back on that. So the first time I shared that photo of you with the hand was actually on the news. And even my friends were like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize she was that little at birth. And, you know, so it was very powerful imagery. And then, of course, seeing her now, and yeah, she had her little, you know, canyon on with these big blue eyes and just beaming and coming outside and seeing the sun the sky for the first time. Like, she was born in summer and was coming out in fall, and her little eyes, and she's just it was really precious, really, really precious. And then, of course, Nathaniel was just over the moon to meet his sister. And as soon as we brought her in, we sat her down, and he just goes racing off, and we're like, what's he doing? Comes back with all his toys. Yeah. And he he was trying to interact. It took him a little bit to realize, oh, she's not going to play with me yet, you know, like... So, you know, having a sister's a little overrated, but he was just so excited to meet her. And, of course, everybody, it felt like the world was rejoicing with us. Like, we got her home. Yeah. And she's well enough to come home. And so far that we know of, there's nothing wrong. You know, as far as we know, there was an underdeveloped thyroid. And so we were still ruling off some heart issues, everything. But she's well enough to come home. That says a lot. So, and then... things trickle down, right, as far as everyday life. And a lot of places wanted more of her story once it kind of started sharing. And I remember telling God, you know, one of my bargaining moments when I was praying over her, that if he gave me my baby, this is before she was born, that I would share, you know, I would share her story any chance I had, hence me being here.
Yeah.
But if anybody ever asked, I would share, and I would always give him the glory. Because while we had incredible doctors and incredible nurses, they don't understand. Many of them told us, we don't know what's happening here, but keep praying, or I don't believe in God, but you do you, because it's working. We had a couple of them start crying, just talking about how they couldn't believe she had survived and was doing so well. So, you know, I've always been very proud to point to Jesus, and it's neat that I've got the medical staffs even. Yeah, they did amazing things, but a lot of the things that would have taken her out didn't. And numerous times she overcame them, and I believe that was God.
Absolutely.
For some reason, picking her and picking us, you know?
Yeah, like you said, there was one doctor, and he just said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it, keep praying. I don't necessarily agree with it, but there's something there. He couldn't explain it. He's like, it's medically, I don't want to say not possible, because, again, there's a small chance, but he's just like, as well as she's done, there's no way this would just be medical.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. So, and it's interesting hearing from him saying that, because you're like, well, I believe God did a lot of stuff in there that, you know, like, they can't do surgery on her intestines. Like, we just have to hope it goes. And I'm like, I hope God uses his little finger and just touches that and fixes it. Because they can't explain how those things happened.
Wow.
So it was crazy.
Yeah.
But after, you know, over time, you know, like, kind of settle in at home. We named the oxygen tank.
Yeah. He was the fifth
he was
family
he was a
member.
fifth family member.
He
and
was in our family
Did
photos.
you address him?
Yeah, no, we didn't dress Tank,
should have
but we
put
did
time.
we did say
Yeah.
goodbye to Tank when we were done with oxygen. It was a big day.
That was the
It's like
greatest day.
no more tethers.
How long did that
That was
take?
about 6 months, I think.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have had she been at sea level. We probably wouldn't have needed Tank. Maybe
As
not.
long.
But we were at a high altitude here, and so that was one of the reasons. But yeah, Tank was with us. There were times where, because he went back to work and I'm at home and I'm a little intimidated by Tank. And one day Tank started hissing at me, and I don't know anything about oxygen tanks, but I'm like, the house is gonna blow, and I grabbed the kids and I ran
my God.
outside. I'm like, Michael,
Yeah.
help!
So I think I had
He's
to-
like, calm down, go back inside, turn it off. I'm like, okay.
Well,
Don't smoke around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
that's
almost
working.
drowned Naomi one time.
Yeah.
Because they have water on it as well to moisturize the air.
yeah.
Because otherwise it's too dry here in Reno. So they moisturize the air. And so I was changing her or something, and I pulled the cord by accident, and the whole thing tipped over. Well, the water flows right in with that. The tank just pushes it through, and the water comes out, and it's right in her nose, and she's on her back. I'm
I
like, oh
come
my
in,
gosh!
like-
I ripped that off as fast as I could, and she's sputtering and coughing, and I'm like,
waterboarding our daughter.
I know. I'm like, oh no, don't die. This would be the worst.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
killed my child by
There
drowning
was,
by
there
accident.
was obstacles.
Yeah.
And then when you had to go to appointments, you had to take Tank with you. But there was a
Yeah.
mini tank you could take instead.
That's right.
So trying to take two little kiddos to all these appointments in wintertime. And
But it's amazing how you
Yeah.
you just you
Adapt.
accommodate, you adapt.
You adapt.
You adapt to a situation. You're like, what other choice have I got to do? I mean, I got to do what I got to do. You got to go through this time in life, and hopefully we get through it all and we make it through.
I've had a lot of people say, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you did it. I could never do it. I'm like, you don't have a choice.
Right.
Like it was like, don't praise me or him on what we went through. You have to. So I'm like, they're just like, wow, it's amazing. You're so strong. I'm like, actually, no, I was very, very weak. It was the support that we had through God and God's people on this earth that got us through it. But didn't really have a choice. You have to go through it. You can't just, I guess you could just walk away.
Take a bus. I mean,
Yeah.
you're
See,
here.
yeah. And it was just very much like you do it. Like you don't have a choice. It's not about my strength. It's not about us being incredible. It's about we got put in the situation, and you just take one step, and then you take another step, and you just next thing you know you're walking,
Right.
and you're headed towards the finish line, and slowly the weight gets easier as there's less complications, and okay, she's been alive for long enough, and then you get home, and yeah, people started talking about her, and everything started spreading more. And we did.
She was also the hospital nominated her. They called us up. We'd like to have her be the champ. What is it?
Yeah, the Miracle Child.
Miracle
the
Child.
ambassador for
Ambassador.
the hospital.
Yeah.
And so we did that for 2
years.
2 terms,
Yeah.
2 terms of 2 years, where we, she was their spokesperson. Yeah. So all the Costco fundraising and all the events we would go to, the Miss Nevada contest, and we did a lot of just look at this miracle that our hospital helped, and it gave me the opportunity to talk at a lot of events in front of a lot of people, and just share what an incredible hospital we have. That even was willing to give her a chance. And then also bring it back to God, and share that with groups of people, because that's part of our story and that's part of our testimony.
What a blessing.
Yeah, and then the pro-life movement caught on to her story too, and of course they wanted more and more and more and more. So even now they're still writing about her, doing updates, because she was just an advocate for the unborn, that we didn't know this was possible, to have successful outcomes. Babies are born at 25 weeks all the time. Babies make it, but with her size and the odds that she had stacked against her, she broke ground there. And so there has been a lot of, and then a lot of the Catholic Church was very into her story initially. And so every so often you'll get a little notification that her story's gone viral in some country, this little baby. And Reno, I feel like I put Reno on the map for all the right reasons.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, what
that's
a
so
beautiful life.
Gives Reno 911 a whole new vision, right?
Isn't it? It's not all people know. They're on the other side of the world. And
Yeah.
so to have such a beautiful story about pro-life story from our little town is pretty humbling.
Yeah,
It's pretty
it is.
humbling.
I was in one of my podcasts. They had lost their home in a fire,
Mm-hmm.
and they said, people say God doesn't give you any more than you can handle, but that's not in the Bible. It's God doesn't give you any more than He can handle.
Right.
And I thought, wow, that's so
Isn't
true.
that true?
And so here we are. He can handle this, and
he did.
He's taking a test and making a testimony. He's
Yeah.
taking a mess and making it a message, and
Oh, I love that.
so it makes my head swim how He has worked through this and is continuing to work, through this. So, in the first year, any bad news that came, or was it continuation
It continued to just be good news.
Oh, praise God!
The only thing that never went away was a thyroid, underdeveloped thyroid, and
How does that affect her?
not much. It's a little pill. Wow. We had a few things, like she had pretty damaged lungs, so we had to be really careful with her during flu, and then of course when COVID came around. But you outgrow the damage because your lungs are yay big, and then they become this big, so the damaged cells get overcome by good cells. And so they said by the time she's 7 or 8, she'll be equivalent with her peers. We worried about all the things, like did she get enough touch? She's the cuddliest, most affectionate little thing. Is she going to be able to handle altitude really well? Middle of winter, she snowboards, on these mountains that are up in Tahoe. Swimming was another one where our son has been swimming since he could. And we waited till she was about 2 years old and got her in the pool, and she's like a little fish in the water.
Holds her breath for
Yeah.
long periods of time. So
I
you're
bet
like,
she does.
I remember her going, she's never going to be able to swim because she can't hold her breath. And I'm like, because she was more worried about her lungs the whole time than I ever was. I'm like, I'm kind of like, let her be a kid because she's got to do something. I mean, if she gets puffed out, she gets puffed out from running.
And she's pretty
or whatever.
fearless too. Like she's got this zest to do things. There's no shyness. There's no, she's not overcome by fear, or like she's just so normal, and she truly is her middle name. Like she's joy.
She's joyful, but she's as even the doctors and nurses said, she's a fighter. So part of me is like, I don't know if some children are just born, more of a fighter,
Zesty.
kind of zesty than, personality-wise, because it's in her personality too. She's, she'll fight back against her brother if her brother's picking on her and stuff, and it's just like, it continues. Like it's not like you still got a fighting spirit about her.
Yeah, that's what they said about her. They're like, we go in to do a procedure on her, and she's like, they called her little ninja baby. So the Epoch Times did a story about her, and they call her little ninja.
Yeah.
And every time they talked about her, they called her little ninja because he said she just fights us, and we're like, just put your arms down. We gotta. But he goes, we like to see that.
Yeah.
Because there are some babies that are just. Yeah. And so she has this little zest and little firecracker while still being just delightful. But as far as health, she was followed very closely for growth. We still do follow her growth, and then also she's petite, and then follow developmentally everything. And again, all those appointments just dropped off.
And we joke because like her eyes, they're like, oh, she might be blind, right? As we said.
Yeah.
But she's like, hey, Dad, you see that bird way over there? And I've got my glasses on to even correct my vision, and I'm like, I don't see the bird. And then I'll have to look for a way, and finally I'm like, oh, there it is. I'm like, how can you see that? I'm like, not only does she
vision.
not supposed to have great vision, but her vision's like 2010.
Yeah.
I don't know
Like
what it is.
an eagle.
Yeah, she is. She can see stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's just a miracle right there.
Yeah.
She can see stuff, and
No, so everything's just slowly squared away to be this.
So one question that we kind of have talked about, but so now that life is somewhat normal,
Very normal.
how would you describe your walk with the Lord now, like spiritually speaking?
You want to go first? You want me to? No, I can. I have a lot more faith when you're in the midst of it and you've had all these people tell you it's not going to work out. And it does. And I feel very blessed. I also hope my faith doesn't come just because we had good outcomes, because we certainly weren't expecting them. So we do have a happy ending. We have an incredible, a miraculous ending. I'm very bold about sharing about him and what he's done with our daughter. Don't care what anyone thinks. And I have a deep sense of gratitude because having a normal life is a gift, you know, and I thought we would be grieving for the rest of our lives or struggling. And so I have this gratitude for the smallest things, for the smallest little things that happen in our life. And then I do have a more mature, stronger, and the more chances I've had to talk and share her story and have people contact me and say, well, you know, there's this little baby that was saved because of Naomi, and there's this another little baby, or parents reach out and ask us to coach them through the last few weeks of the pregnancies. And it's definitely a sense of, I feel indebted that there's so much we can do and help people and share. But I'd say out of everything, gratitude. I'd like to say my walk is stronger, and I hope it is. But we're just very grateful for answered prayers and for everybody that prayed on behalf of us and our daughter.
Yeah, I mean, at that point in time, I'd say you rely on the Lord a lot more because you're in a situation where you kind of have to. As you said, you know, like he's not going to put you through things that you can't handle. I'm like, well, I can't handle it. The only person that can handle it is God, because there's no way I can handle this. So, yeah, I did rely on him a lot more then. And then there's been times since then where, if I'm honest, I'm like, you know what, we made it through. We're all good again. Like, do I need God as much anymore? Yeah, I do. But there's some times when you're like, you can kind of, I got this now, and life's back to normal. It can be a little more chill, and but I mean, even right now, it's like, you know what, I need to have a stronger faith again, or a stronger walk with God, because I can be a little bit. You can either, as I was just listening to something I told her, I'm like, you're either drifting or you're driving, and I don't want to drift, and I want to just float through a spiritual life with God. I want to, you know, be following him and not going away. And I kind of want to make sure we're not doing that as a family. And I will say, even though things are normal, I've always told her, and I try to tell my daughter too, I'm like, she's like, I got all these scars on my tummy, right? And I don't want her to be conscious of that, because she does have some scarring and stuff. And I'm like, I look at that, and I'm like, that's God's handprint.
Yep.
He saved you. I don't ever want you to think it's bad.
Yeah.
And so even when I see it, it's always a constant reminder.
And to us, it's beautiful. And it's only on her belly, but all the scarring on her belly is just like, that's why you're here.
Right.
Like, but I get, you know, when you become a teenager and you know, body image issues, and I pray she never has that, but it's just like, that's why you're with us, and that's God's little fingerprints all over you.
But it's a reminder for me. I mean, every time, you know, she's like, I'm going to take a shower or take a bath, and, you know, I'll see her little tummy, and I'm like, oh, you're 10 years old, but I still see the scars, and so it's still a precious. It's a reminder again. It's like, where she came from. Like, we went through all that. It's not like it's totally forgotten.
No, but it is a distant memory, just like the doctors told us.
Right.
Yeah.
My granddaughter had burst appendix this year.
Oh.
And ended up in emergency type surgery, and she has a scar now, and thank God for that scar.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it could have been
Life-saving scar.
really, really bad. And then I have a nephew that had emergency surgery 2 days after he was born, and he came to visit this year from England. They're from England.
Oh, yeah.
He has, I can still see the scar when he was, you know, at Lake Tahoe. We were at Lake Tahoe, and I'm like, wow. And I told him about it. I said, I was there. I
Oh,
was there 2 days
yeah.
after you were born. Just God put me there.
Yeah.
And to watch, to know that that was God's hand.
Yeah.
He's not quite sure about all that right now because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
walking in his own
Yeah.
way. But,
Yeah.
I said, I was there. God showed up for you.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah. So she'll know someday. She'll,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's this beautiful thing God does for a while so that kids have their own journey to make their own testimony.
Mm-hmm.
And Naomi's going to have that as part of her testimony someday.
It is.
know.
A lot of people, when she made it and everything started going, a constant message we got is that she's going to change the world. She's got a big role in life. Like God saved her. And I'm like, well, talk about pressure for starters. But my response was like, she already has.
Right.
Amen.
She's already done. My dad calls her at the time he called her God's smallest missionary. Because he said she's moving people all over the world.
That's right.
She doesn't even know she's doing it. She's just so tiny, and just her will to live and her fight and what God's doing through her. And that's what I always said. I'm like, oh, what do you mean she's got lots to do? She's already done it. Her story is she's done more in her life than most have ever had, and that's just by surviving.
Well, I believe strongly because there are people all over the world today that are getting that news that you have to abort your baby
Yeah.
because the baby's going to die and you're going to die also, all over the world today. And so I just pray that with this, being able to share your story, that someone will have hope
Yeah.
just by hearing this, because I know it gave me hope when I heard it. And we throw away babies every day. We either are forced into it or we don't trust God at that moment. And so I'm praying that whoever's listening to this can trust God with that decision.
Absolutely, because we're the perfect example of the doctors were wrong.
Yes.
Was God in it? Absolutely. Did we have access to a wonderful hospital and great care? Absolutely. But no one even wanted us to get to that point. And that's not just our 3 or 4 little doctors we saw in Reno. It was also 2 of the best in our country. They were wrong. They said it wasn't possible. They said this was going to happen. They said that was going to happen. This is all they do all day, every day. And they were wrong. So that's my takeaway, is that don't just take your doctor's answer for it. And just make sure, especially for the mother, that you're not going to die, which you shouldn't have to. There's plenty of ways to deliver your baby early, to take care of your health, but don't take the doctor's word for it. Because in the great old United States and one of the best hospitals in the country that specializes in this, they were wrong.
Right. And doctors are practicing their craft.
Yep.
And it's not they're learning new things every day.
Yeah.
And they're not God.
Yep.
No.
And so I'm so grateful that you took somewhere in the midst of it. That's why I was probably my biggest impression of you, Angela, is you say you didn't have a lot of faith. You are probably the most faith-filled woman that I know of.
Oh, wow.
At that time, you didn't feel like you did.
Yeah.
But you had this something in you that said no. You said no. And I'm so grateful for that, because that will help other women and men, families, have that same reaction, to where you have something inside you that God's given you that said, no, I'm not going to abort my baby so that I can live. You trusted God, even though you say you didn't.
No, I was scared.
You were scared, but I saw that thread in you
Yeah.
was so much stronger than you give yourself credit for.
Well, thank you.
Well, I've heard your story through written word, and I've heard your story now at Summit, and now I'm a witness to this beautiful story, and how precious your family is. You know how precious you are, Michael. To
Thank you.
it is so important, you know, because we are a society that tosses babies in the garbage, sells body parts. You know, I'm so grateful that we have this beautiful story to give other people hope.
Well, thank you.
You know, and so one more question is, where are the Bakkers today?
Where are we today? We are thriving, living our best life.
Right? We're just taking everything day by day. I mean,
Yeah.
kids are in school. They fight. They
Yep.
break up fights.
They're
It's
very normal.
It's a, yeah, I would call it just what I would call it a normal,
Yeah.
everyday
normal life,
family.
everyday
Yes.
family.
And as far as, you know, we shared her story with the hospital. We have shared her story multiple times in various outlets, and continue to share. And it drew me into the pro-life world, this story, and my husband too, as far as we got to see what it would have looked like had we terminated her pregnancy. We got to see her at that point, and it became a platform that we didn't really know we wanted or needed, but we were put into this situation, and suddenly our daughter and our story became a pro-life story. And God put us through that, and I feel like we have a responsibility. So I'm very involved with the pregnancy center here in Reno, and so is Naomi. And we just continue to maybe do what we can to help women choose life. Because even in my situation, it wasn't even an option, because she was so clearly alive inside of me. And she's the one that's kicking. I'm not kicking. She's kicking me right now. And how do I stop those little legs? It's not me, you know? And so there was a clarity. And if we can get that clarity across to women,
Exactly.
you know, that this is another little human, and no matter what, this human is wanted.
Right.
Even if you don't want him, this little baby is wanted.
Right.
And that is just a message that we will preach from the hilltops, and do everything we can do to support women that aren't sure, and show them the lies they're being fed by the ease of abortion. And we will continue, I think, till the day we die, to advocate for life and share Naomi's story.
Yeah,
It's
a-
true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's their choice. You know, my
Yeah.
body, my choice, but it's their body.
It is.
It's their body.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, as Angela said, I don't think at the time we were really thinking about, or we're part of the pro-life
No.
movement. I've always been pro-life, because, I mean, even when we were going through the discussions, it was never an option for me when we were talking about it. But when you look back, I'm like, I can't fathom that somebody would abort this little baby that I'm holding right by my hand.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's still a baby. She's got little fingernails and she's alive. I'm like, just because she's in a womb versus out, just amazing that a hospital is trying so much to save a child.
Yes.
At the same time, the same kind of medical community will try to destroy a child. Like, why is there such a difference between
Yeah.
the two?
Yeah.
It's very sad.
It's definitely a spiritual
Yes.
battle that we are in right now. And anything that you'd like to say to close this series out?
Golly, I think I've said everything.
Yep.
People are probably sick to death of me.
No.
Here's my story.
Well,
Just thank you, Leanne, for giving us this platform. And,
Well, I want to thank you. Also, I want to encourage you to finish the book.
yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
It could be a movie as far as I'm concerned, but I'm just really honored to be able to
Yeah.
be a part of it. I mean, like I said, when I read your first story, I was like bawling my eyes out. And when I
remember.
found out it was like, this is my friend, I'm like, what?
That's
You know,
hilarious.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
You mean her? It was her?
Really? Like, what is going on? This is too crazy. Yeah, God is so
Yeah,
good.
He is.
Yeah,
Small world,
He's
isn't
so,
it?
so
Yeah.
good. And I just want to, thank you and honor you for choosing life.
Thank you.
And, I want I want you guys to meet Paul and Ryan, and because Naomi's the same age as
Yeah.
Kylie.
Yeah.
You
Oh, that'd
know.
be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I want to thank everybody for joining us on this beautiful series, and look forward to the next episode with other stories. And I do want to close this out today with the verse that's in Revelation. It says that we're saved by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimonies. That means we all have a testimony, and God is waiting for you to receive the blessing of his Son's payment for your debt that is owed because of sin. And so there's lots and lots of information, but if you ever want to reach out to me as a host to find out more how you can receive that precious gift, please drop me a line. All right. Thank you so much. God bless.